Like there was some story about, I believe it was the head of IR, Martin, was explaining this little story about the iPace, or not the iPace, the whatever the BMW i3 is. And so it was like a modified production line that they had to build to do it. They're not building a new production line, they're modifying their ICE ones. And so then you're implementing all these design rules and changes and first principles from your ICE production line into the EV process. So that's probably why your aerodynamics aren't as good. That's like why everything is not going to be as good. You need to start from scratch. But what does that take? That takes like hundreds of millions of CapEx. That takes slashing all your profitability guidance. That takes like your stretched whole, you're going to start selling your, you're taking your highest margin customers and you're selling who you're selling your most expensive cars to, and now selling them your lowest margin cars, your EVs. I just can't understate how fragile a position I think the legacy OEMs are in.
Yeah, retrofitting at this point is not going to fly, and neither is the electrification of vehicle lines, aka turning their existing ICE vehicles into hybrids. Like, you need to go all battery electric, no fuel cells, no hybrids, no retrofitting. You need to build EVs from the ground up. And the other thing, kind of the bull versus bear argument, the bears say that Tesla not having these third-party dealerships is a disadvantage. I wholeheartedly disagree. It is a huge advantage for Tesla to go direct and have their own retail platform. And it's all about misaligned incentives for the legacy automakers. So put yourself in the shoes of the dealerships, first of all. So say you've got a Jaguar competitor with the I-Pace that's an ICE versus the I-Pace, right? Every I-Pace that you sell, instead of the internal combustion engine equivalent, you are getting approximately 1/4 of the service and maintenance from that vehicle. Dealerships, the majority of their profit comes from service and maintenance. So they're in between a rock and a hard place. If they don't hop on the EV bandwagon, they're going to die. If they do hop on the EV bandwagon, they're going to die.
Wow.
And then take the perspective of like an exec at VW or something, right? Every EV you sell, instead of your competitive ICE version, your financials are going to go terrible, right?
Yeah, no, and what I was thinking is the other layer to the dealerships is like, okay, if the gross margin on these EVs sucks, then who's taking the hit? Is it the auto OEM at their level? Because the only way if I'm a dealer that I'm going to be incentivized to sell EVs is if my margin up front's way bigger, and so I don't care as much about the maintenance. But for that, they need more margin wiggle room, which is like the opposite of what they have.
Yeah, I mean, as a CEO, you need to put up great financial performance, and the quicker you go into EVs, the worse their financial performance is going to look, because you are basically supplanting EVs or the ICE cars with the EVs. And the more they do that, the worse those financials are going to look. So that's where the misaligned incentives is with the executives, not just the dealerships.